Thank you, Mutadkarji. Good morning, everybody. My colleagues at Pune, our guest of honor, Dr. Sanjay Upadhyay, our beloved General Manager, Subodh Kumarji, and our office bearers, Pradeep Jain, then Ravindra Wali, Bagleji, then our Gotheji. It is so nice that you have organized this beautiful program to release the beautiful magazine Mukta Chand, an anthology of poems, essays, short stories, skits, and so many other parts of literature. Well, friends, the Mukta Chand, the anthology has definitely given an opportunity for all our colleagues at Pune in particular and Maharashtra in general to come out with their talents. The flair for writing has been exhibited, say, by contributing to the beauty of the magazine.
मी तुम्हाला यानंतर तुम्हाला 1-2 मिनिटांसाठी बोलवणार आहे. Okay.
Well, friends, the Marathi literature, as a person, acquainted with Marathi literature, I had an opportunity to go through Sant Gyaneshwar's Abhangs, then Namdev, Sant Eknath, Sant Tukaram, Samarth Ramdas. All these saints, they laid a firm foundation to Marathi literature. And in the early part of the 19th century, it was people like Ram Ganesh Gadkari, then Keshav Sutta, the poet. They contributed immensely for the growth of, say, Marathi literature. And we in, say, Karnataka have got some interaction with Marathi literature right from the 12th century. Because in the 12th century, the Bhakti movement that was at its peak in Karnataka under the leadership of Basveshwara. So many Marathi words you find in the Vachanas written by Basveshwara. And so is the case with Sant Tukaram's Abhangs. There you will find so many Kannada words. That interaction between Kannada and Marathi literature, it dates back to 12th century. And in the course of time, we have been exchanging, say, the literary contents, there has been exchange of literary contents between Marathi and Kannada for over 200 to 300 years. Because the people living in the border districts of Karnataka, and I am, say, from Dharwad, and I know the beauty of, say, Marathi literature. And I have read the works of Kusmagraj, Vishnu Vaman Shirvadkar, V.S. Khandekar, Pula Deshpande, the poetry of Balakavi, Trayambak Bapuji Thombre, then Mangesh Padgaonkar. Then we have read Suresh Bhatt, the poet. Then we have got Vasant Purushottam Kale, Acharya Atre, and even say women, literary say giants like Sunita Deshpande, Gauri Deshpande, who are say writers, novelists of repute, and the great works of V.S. Khandekar, Shirvadkar, and Balachandra Nemade have brought Jnanapita awards to Marathi literature. And we have read the works of Gopal Dandekar, then Madhav Julian, the poet. We have read I have read his translated works. And this Khandekar, the novelist, Ranjit Desai, then Vishwas Patil, Shivaji Sawant. All these say great, say, literary figures have contributed immensely for the growth of Marathi literature. And I am a connoisseur of Marathi dramas. I love the dramas of Vijay Tendulkar and Mahesh L. Kunchwar. their dramas, say Tendulkar's dramas, Shantata Court Chalwa Hai, Sakaram Binder, and say Pula Deshpande's works, even Nata Samrat of Kusmagraj. I have seen them, and I have seen many Marathi dramas like Tarun Turk Mathare Ark, Haram. Say those dramas, during our say young days, they had caught the imagination of say youngsters like me, and we enjoyed, the say Marathi dramas. And to Marathi literature, our Professor G. Kulkarni from Dharwad, he has contributed immensely. He won Sahitya Academy Award, say, for his works in Marathi. So that way, the Marathi literature has got a very rich tradition, and our colleagues, who have been working for the say bank, for the last almost 4 decades, had their inner talent, latent say talents, which was not given opportunity to say flourish during their working days, because it was work, 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 and work, all the time, and even at the cost of personal comfort and family life. And now is the opportunity, retirement has given them the opportunity to dream the things, which they were not in a position to realize during their working days. And I'm really very happy, and I'm proud of all the contributors who have say contributed to the beauty of the magazine Mukta Chand. As rightly told by our speakers, our General Secretary and others, life starts at 60. And this gives an opportunity for one to do the things which was not able to do, during his say working days. That way, our friends, there are so many talented people. For your information, one of our colleagues who retired from service of Canara Bank as Assistant General Manager, Mr. S.B. Vaidya, he wrote novels after his retirement. He wrote novels in Kannada after his retirement, and he won Central Sahitya Academy Award, and he won Karnataka Sahitya Academy Award. That shows that, for exhibiting talent, age is not the bar. Age is not the age of your life. You can come out with your creative instincts, exhibited in beautiful works of art and literature. I have, great say pleasure to participate in this meeting and say enjoy the speeches of our say General Manager, our General Secretary. He has given elaborate details of the issues that have been discussed, that have reached some finality, that are going to bring say benefit to the retired officers, employees. I don't want to say again join on those issues at this particular meeting. So friends, I congratulate all the people who have contributed say for the beauty of the magazine, by their say poems, by contributing their essays, by contributing their short stories, whatever it may be. And I must appreciate the efforts of our say colleagues at Pune, who have thought of this opportunity being provided to the colleagues at Pune, retired colleagues at Pune, where people participated very enthusiastically. That is what I was told, and their effort has borne the fruit in the form of this Deepavali Vishesh Ank. And I once again congratulate all the people who have contributed. And friends, it is told, a poetry, the literary work, it comes spontaneously. It comes spontaneously without any say effort. It is told, say poetry should come like leaves to tree, otherwise should not come at all, ought not to come at all. That is the say saying. And our friends, say who are capable of writing, who have got a flair for writing, should continue to contribute to the Marathi literature. And I'll be very glad to see some of them rising to great heights of glory in the days to come. And say I thank our office bearers who have taken pains. I think for the last 3-4 months, all of you have been running around to give the magazine a beautiful shape. Really, it is a wonderful effort on your part. And it is a good thing, say for life, it doesn't end with retirement, or it doesn't end with the creature comforts of life. What is this life if full of cares? I have no time to stand and stare. If this life is filled with only cares, only worries, where is the time for me to look around? Say for that matter, I should take chance to opportunity to look around, enjoy the beauty of the nature, enjoy the goodness that radiates from individuals, human beings, in our, say, vicinity. That is the message, that this Mukta Chanda gives. So, friends, I congratulate all of you for this splendid work, and I would like to see many more such special, issues for the Deepavali festivals in the coming days. And I am sure our friends who have contributed will set an example, will be a source of example, inspiration for others to come forward to contribute to the magazine and enrich the contents of the magazine. And I'm sure the magazine will go a long way in inspiring our other colleagues to excel with their thought process, with their writing flair and all that. So I take this opportunity to congratulate all of you, and I thank all of you for giving me an opportunity to participate in this say virtual meeting. And I take this opportunity to wish all of you a very, very happy, prosperous, and successful Deepavali. And the coming days definitely have got an element of hope. And we are on the verge of realizing our dream of getting updation of pension, getting improvement in family pension, fighting for the last nearly 2.5 decades. We have now reached a point of realizing those aspirations. So with this, I take this opportunity to once again thank all of you for giving me this opportunity. And I thank Subodh Kumarji, whom I know since a long time. I had an opportunity to see him after a long gap. I wish him all the best in his future endeavors in taking the circle to greater heights of glory in the days to come. Thank you very much, friends. In fact, our General Secretary explained all the details of the developments that have taken place. And today morning, the 11th bipartite settlement has been signed, and the aspiration of the people of getting pension and improvement in family pension, that has almost become a reality, in the sense the finance minister has taken the issue very seriously. So after going through the various demands put forth by the retirees organizations, Madam Nirmala Sitharaman has instructed the IBA chairman and chairman of State Bank of India to go into the details of updation of pension and other issues that have been raised by the retirees. As a sequel to that, All India Bank Officers Confederation was sticking to the stand that pension issue also should be considered in this particular 11th bipartite settlement. But IBA, as usual, they express their apprehension, in the sense, it cannot be resolved in one go or something like that. But we are on the job. We are on the job of going through the details and making a recommendation to the government of India. As far as updation of pension is concerned, a lot of misinformation is being floated in the WhatsApp groups. Don't go by that, sir. It will become a reality, and updation of pension is not far off. And in yesterday's annual general meeting of IBA, She has told that there should not be any differentiation between the serving employees and the retirees. As far as say passing on the benefits are concerned, what is due to them should be given to them, and say the IBA should work in that direction. That was her crux of the speech delivered by Nirmala Sitharaman. So on account of that, now it has created hope, and people are in touch with the Chairman State Bank of India, who has sounded very positive that something needs to be done for the retirees, and definitely I will do my best to bring relief to the retirees. That is what he has told. And as far as this improvement in family pension is concerned, the proposal is pending before the government. Government is likely to clear the proposal any moment, any day. Only hitch was the date of implementation, from where it is to be implemented, whether it should be implemented from the date on which Reserve Bank of India extended the family pension. That was way back in 2014, or say from the date of implementation of improvements in Reserve Bank of India, that is 1/4/2018, or say from a prospective date. The various options are being worked out. And I think in all probability, the pension improvement matter will be implemented with effect from 1st January. That is the semi-internal information that is shared by our apex body office bearers. And this particular issue of updation, a lot of hue and cry has been created about the load factor that is going to fall on the banking industry. And the actuarial experts that were appointed by our apex bodies, combined actuarial expert, they have given an opinion that it will not put more burden. The maximum burden that falls on the industry will be around 6,300 crores. And for a banking industry, especially public sector banks, which are making a substantial gross profits every year. We are looking to the gross profit, not the net profit. The gross profits of the banking industry are crossing almost 1,50,000 crores per annum. Pension fund, to ensure sustainability of pension fund, every year in the month of March, the bank, every individual bank is supposed to carry out an actuarial assessment and make provision for the amount that is required to ensure sustainability of the pension fund. That means what all is the load that is needed, to maintain the sustainability of pension fund should be provided this year. So on account of that, on account of such provisioning, the pension fund in banking industry has grown from 990 crores to 13,000 crores today. And with the merger of Syndicate Bank, we have got around 63,000 pensioners. In Canara Bank, it is 35,000 main pensioners, 5,000 family pensioners. And in Syndicate Bank, similar situation is there. There are about, 18,000, main pensioners, 4,000 odd, family pensioners. And the corpus is now around 23,000 crores. So this, particular fund, that is lying with the pension fund. So to what extent it will be able to, the fair value, they say the fair value needs to be taken into consideration while deciding whether the fund is sufficient to take care of the pension payout. Every year this exercise needs to be done, and they are not doing any favor to us. It is mandated in Banking Companies Transfer of Undertakings Act 1970/1980 under section 10(1) to 10(7) that every bank, before making provisioning, before declaring net profit or net loss, whatever it may be, net profit or net loss, just remember this. The bank has to provide for bad debts, then provide for depreciation on assets, more importantly on the terminal benefits including pension. It is mandatory. No bank can escape this particular responsibility towards pension fund. whether they incur loss, whether they incur profit, they have to provide this out of the gross profit that has been earned. This particular point has been, substantiated before the finance minister. Mr. Anurag Thakur, he heard our team
Hello.
for almost, say 45 minutes.
Sir, meeting last 1 minute.
Okay. So all these developments have taken place, and there is a ray of hope of getting a favorable response from the IBA. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this wonderful meeting. Thank you.